Hello.
Hello, Mr. Ali. Can we start now? Mr. Ali, are you available? Hello, Mr. Ali. Can we start now? In our session for today. Namaste to all the tech enthusiasts who have joined us today at our very first Digital First Hybrid Hackathon, that is KU Hackfest 2022. Welcoming you all on a board of excitement, fun, and for sure memories that will run for long. It's me, Milna Shatke, and once again I would like to welcome you all. KU Hackfest 2022 is the first digital hybrid hackathon that is being organized by Kathmandu University Computer Club from 5th to 7th August 2022, where students will be participating through physical as well as virtual meetups. We have partnered up with MLH as an event sponsor, Boost Games as Diamond Tire sponsor, GitHub and Solana as Gold Tire sponsor, Deffolio, Polygon, Tech Himalaya and Angel Swing as Silver Tire sponsors, Falcon as Bronze Tire sponsor, and we have 9 General Tire sponsors with us this year. Kathmandu University KU Hackfest 2022 envisions bringing creative minds together to collaboratively create something that can spark to change in the future of technology. It is the best platform to showcase your coding skills, build impactful technological solutions, and also win amazing gifts, prizes, swags, and cash rewards. And we are delighted to welcome you all to our session API 101 with Postman. In today's session, we have Mr. Ali Mustafa, Senior Developer Advocate, Student Partner at Postman. Now, without any further delay, I would like to hand over the stage to Mr. Ali Mustafa and get the session started. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction. Just give me a moment. I'll share my screen and enable my cam and get started. Awesome. I hope you folks are able to. Okay, you're not able to see me. Give me a moment.
Yes, sir, we are
Yeah,
able to see you.
awesome. I hope you all are doing good and you know you're having fun in the hackathon. Today we are going to talk about APIs and everything about APIs from start to end. Yeah, hello, hello, everyone. I hope you're doing good. Awesome, awesome. So let's get started without delaying it further. We'll also have slides at the end, at the very end of the session. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well. Stay till the end and learn about APIs and learn some really cool slides. So let me quickly share my window. Uh, I hope you're able to see my window.
Yes, sir, we are.
Awesome. So yeah, I don't want this to be, one-way street where I am just speaking and you folks are listening to. I want this to be a two-way interactive street, right? Where I'm speaking, asking you questions, you're asking me questions, and all of that, right? Because I live with my granny, and she kind of tells me that from the morning to the evening, I just look at the computer and speak. So she believes that I'm a madman who speaks to computers all day. So I'm proving it wrong, right? So let's say hi everyone, and I'll take a screenshot and send it to her. So Bhavin has already said hello. What about others? How are you folks doing? All good. Where are you folks from? If you're from India, Nepal, other parts of the world, we'll be happy to know that. Nepal, Bhavin is from Nepal. That's good. What about others? I see a lot more in the chat. Let's see. We have Avinash, we have Arya, we have Jason, Neha, Prasanna. I guess there are a lot more people. Where are you from? I am from Mumbai, India. So yeah, that's not my real background. That's a green screen, I would say. So hello everyone, I'm from Nepal. Hey, hello Neha, how are you doing? Awesome. So let's get started. Before we start, my name is Ali Mustafa, and I'm senior developer advocate on the student programs teams. We are at Postman. I love to kind of talk about, like APIs, and love to talk about communities in general. So that's what I basically, kind of do on a day-to-day basis. Apart from that, I am a cloud and ML trainer, and I love to train people around cloud technologies. And I've been part of the communities, different communities across my, schooling journey. I've been a Microsoft student partner, I've been part of different programs from like Intel Innovator and, a lot more in my journey. So there's a special place in my heart for the communities. And that's what I do. This session is part of, that same enthusiasm which I have about the student communities. So today we are going to talk about APIs and how to kind of get started with it, and we're also going to discuss what Postman is and how to get started with Postman as well. All right, so that's going to be the overall agenda for today. So we will kind of start with intro. We'll go to trying out something hands-on, and then we'll follow it up with the resources and Q&A if you have any questions, and then we'll share about how to earn some awesome swags, in which you can participate and like earn some good Postman swags like this one which I'm wearing right here. So let's get started. When we talk about APIs, in a very simple terms, if I want to explain API to anyone, I'll explain it as a digital restaurant where you're going and you're sitting on the table, and then the waiter comes. A waiter basically kind of tries to serve you, like tries to give you the menu, and then you basically select the items from the menu, and you go ahead and you are like, okay, I'm gonna, order this, and then the waiter goes to the back end, which is the kitchen, and prepares it, with the help of chef. So all of this process, what is happening is you are basically being abstracted with the process of all the cooking and everything which happens behind the kitchen. You are sitting in a comfortable seat, enjoying your meal, where on the back end there are people who are working and making sure that you get the right food and it tastes good and all of that, right? So that is what API does. Your later is an example of how API works between different clients and different servers, and it enables you to interact with other features of different services without actually knowing the code, or without actually knowing key details around it. You can just use the API and walk around with it, and yeah, you can implement that feature in your application. So, in a technical world, if I want to give you an example in this Gen Z audience, one really good example which I give is around Instagram. So, how many of you use Instagram or have ever used it before? or if not Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. All are same nowadays. Has anyone went ahead and used these platforms? Yes, no. Let's wait for people to respond. Yeah, you can actually type it in the chat as well. That's also fine. Oh, Abhinash raised their hand, which means they have used it. Bipin has used. Obviously, we use it. How do we do time pass? We watch reels all day round, right? Don't worry, I'm no different. I also watch reels, right? So that's how we spend our time. So I see a lot of more people raising their hands. Once I revealed, I also do that. But let's understand the technicality behind it, right? That is the fun part, right? It's not just about using it, but let's understand how it technically works. So Instagram uses a lot of APIs. Okay. So the very first API they use is a hardware level API or a third party library, which allows them to communicate with our camera. So let's say you're attending this session, you open up your mobile phone and you want to click a photo, right? So you kind of adjust your camera. What happens when you click a photo is that it captures it engages the hardware of your mobile, right? So camera is the hardware, and then it clicks a photo and then displays it on your Instagram app. So this is level one, which is where you use low-level APIs or hardware-level APIs or third-party libraries to enable this functionality. Once the image is on your Instagram interface, then what you do? You add emojis to it, right? You add GIFs to it. Like if you are, if you ask me, I'm not that creative person. So what I usually do is I would, just upload it as it is. I'll not add, more stuff to it because I don't know how it will look like more or less. So I'll just upload it like that. But if you're a creative person, you will add different GIFs and all of that, and make it more amazing, right? Where this GIFs comes from? It comes from Giphy. Let me show you. So if you go to Giphy and you open it, you can see that Giphy has amazing GIFs available up there, everywhere. So if I go here, I go to giphy.com, I can actually see all these GIFs which are available in the latest format. And Instagram uses these, right? So you can go ahead and you can basically go there and get a specific category of a specific category of GIFs. You can go to developer section and you can integrate like all this Giphy GIFs into your own system. So you can see it is used by Facebook, TikTok, all of them uses Giphy. And Giphy does not reveal their code, right? If they reveal their code, then what will happen? They will go bankrupt, right? Because then others like Instagram and TikTok would basically have their own GIFs repository and all of that. So what Giphy does is Giphy provides them with an API. They're like, okay, you wanna use our GIFs. What we wanna do is we wanna hide the abstraction from you and enable you to use a GIF. Not a problem at all. And that's what happens. You can see, a lot of people use this APIs of Giphy to enable GIFs, in their own, in their own app and so on. So this is a public API, which is basically available to everyone. You can go and use it. I can go and use it. Any developer can go and use it. It might be free, it might be paid. It depends on what kind of service you're asking for. Like for example, if you're using Giphy, there is free versions, there's paid versions. So you can use the one which suits your needs and requirements. Okay. So that's about the public APIs, and then comes private APIs. So Instagram will upload this image into your private server, right? Into their private server, not your private server, and then they will send it to all your followers, right? That hey, this is where coming with API. It is actually they are using machine learning in the Google Meet, so yeah, around that. But yeah, if you talk about the private APIs, this is where Instagram does the magic. And Instagram uploads your image into their private server, from where it is only visible to your followers if you have a private account, or visible to everyone if you have a public account, right? So this is where private APIs are there. These are not exposed, meaning that you cannot operate API, you cannot operate Instagram using APIs yet. There are obviously unofficial APIs available, but basically Instagram has not yet made it public. So that's about APIs in a technical way. What is the full form of API? Application Programming Interface, obviously, right? But what is it in full form? If you can basically go ahead and understand it in a technical format, right, and be able to implement it. So APIs are everywhere in this modern world. We don't need to kind of rely on creating everything from scratch. We can just get the API and get started with the development journey without needing to build everything from scratch, right? So that is something which is really good about APIs in general. There's an API for everything. If you love cats, there's a cat API. If you don't love cats, you're a dog lover, there's a dog API. If you love crocodiles, there's a crocodile API. I'm not kidding. It exists. So there's API for everything. Okay. There's API for Spotify, there's API for Twitter, there's API for Google and everything else. Let me show you a classic example of how APIs work on Google search. When I'm opening up Postman, I'll show you a very classic example of how APIs work around. Momo API is a very interesting API. Maybe you can build it within. That's a very good business idea, I would say. Cool. So why do we use APIs? Like, what's the need for using APIs, right? Why can't I directly go and code up everything? And why do I need to use API? What is API first and short, right? So in the modern world, we don't usually build everything from scratch. And even if you're building everything from scratch, it takes a lot of time to build on top of one another. Okay, so let's say you're building an application, okay, and you're building, let's say, Instagram. So a clone of Instagram. So what are you gonna do? You want to kind of go ahead and create a login system. You will have to go ahead create a sign up system. You'll have to go ahead and create the profile page. You'll have to go ahead and create basically the basic functionality, the home page, right? So now if you are a team of developers working towards kind of working towards this thing, and then it's very difficult, right? That you're working on, let's say, profile, and someone is working on homepage. So you want to make sure that it syncs properly, right? And the algorithm works and everything works. And to make that work, people adopt API first approach. What that means, every team. So let's say the team building the profile, the team building the homepage, the team building like the like features, the comment features. They all are going to work independently, and they all will collaborate and work around with APIs together. What does it mean? It means that they all have independence to build feature on top of that, and then implement that with other parts of the software very, very easily. So if you have ever used Legos, have anyone used Legos here in their childhood? The plastic blocks which you could connect to each other. Yes. Anyone use Legos? No. Bipin says yes. What about others? Jason says yes. Cool. So the best part for me was not building it, but if I see my brother building stuff, I'll just go kick it and move on, right? The best satisfaction feeling. But building Legos is crazy, right? Why? Because Legos is amazing. You can build anything with it, and not just that, you can dismantle it and rebuild it, right? So the whole idea around APIs is that they are software version of Legos. Okay. So what's going to happen? You're going to build individual features, and then you're going to attach all of them together. And once you punch them all together, what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and you're going to basically be like, okay, this is my complete software. So you develop individual Legos together, and then you combine all of them together and build something really, really amazing. So that's what APIs enable the corporations and startups to do. It allows them to iterate fast, allows them to combine different features together, and make everything successful at the very end. Cool. What is Postman then? We understood about API, right? And all good. What about Postman? So Postman is a collaborative API development platform. I emphasize on the word collaborative because it's very, very collaborative. What does Postman allow you to do? It allows you to build APIs. It allows you to use APIs. It allows you to test APIs. It's a complete suite which you can use to make your API journey very, very easy, and API adoption very, very easy for your company. And because it's completely git controlled, which means you can actually create a fork request, you can actually fork and create a pull request and do a lot of stuff apart from this. So you can publicly collaborate, you can privately collaborate, and do a lot of stuff. Postman is a free product, so you have a free version which supports up to 3 people, and then there is an enterprise version. But for students, it is always free. So if you are a student and you are in a college and you use Postman extensively, and you want to bring in your more peers on your team who are working with you on a specific project, and you are hitting the limit of up to 3 people, then you can contact me and I'll make sure that you get a license from our side. which will definitely help you, which will definitely, go ahead and help you to enable, like collaboration between your peers, right? So that's about this one. That's about Postman. Why learn Postman? Postman is used by around 98% of Fortune 500 companies, including PayPal, Kroger, Philips, Frontliner, Uber, Walt Disney, and so on and so forth, which makes Postman one of the most adopted tools in the industry, which then reinforces that if you have a skill set which is required in the industry the very most, it will definitely help you, like bring the best out of you and be ace your applications for your jobs. So Postman does provide you a lot of value addition. With 20 million developers across the world using Postman, it has become one of the first and one of the best API tools available in the market to be used by all the enterprise companies. So working with APIs have been difficult early on, and that's why Postman kind of started. So working with APIs on the curl commands was very, very difficult. You go, work around with the command line and all of that. So we replaced that in Postman via UI, and for the power users, there's still command line available in Postman. So you can actually do both of the things. You can save the request, you can share it, and you can do a lot more, right? So consider Postman as browsers for API. Okay. So as we have normal browsers, consider Postman as browsers for APIs, right? Which can allow you to go ahead and create, request and use APIs, test APIs, and all of that together. Awesome. So whenever we are talking about APIs, we are talking about sending a request and receiving a response, right? So here in this scenario, what happens is there's a client, there's a server, and then you send a request to the server, and then basically it replies back with the response. So this is something which is called as a request response pattern, and this pattern is very important if you want to do the practical right. So when you're requesting, you have very important aspects: method, address, and path. What is a method? Method is an action verb. So let us see. So there are multiple methods which are available: get, post, put, delete. Get method is to retrieve information, post method is to send information, put a patch to update information, and delete method to delete information. These are action verbs, which means whatever you tell in method, this is what the server is going to execute, right? Then once you move from method, then there comes the URL, which has three parts. The first one is a protocol, the second one is the domain name, and the third one is the path. So the first one is more like, what kind of protocol you're following. Is it HTTP, is it HTTPS, and so on and so forth. The second part is basically where we talk about the domain name, right? So it can be an IP address, it can be a domain name, which then links back to the IP address more or less. So that is the host. And then the last part is the path. Now, interesting about path is this is where the resource is located. So let me show you. So if I go to google.com, it takes me to the home page. If I go to google.com/search, it takes me to the same page again. If I go to google.com Gmail, it takes me to my Gmail, right? If I go to google.com/maps, it takes me to Google Maps. If I go to google.com slash, let's say drive, it takes me to Google Drive. So what happens is google.com remains the same, but the path as I'm adding it, what happens is, that path is added and it takes me to that specific resource which I'm looking at, right? So the path is very, very important. This is where the resource is located. Now you can obviously add bodies to your API, API call which you're making. You can add authorization, you can add queries and customize it all. Now, remember, whenever you are going to add a body, you are going to basically, we are using JSON data, as a payload. What is JSON? JavaScript object notation. So what we are actually doing is whenever we are sending information to the server, because we are working with the REST API, we are going to go ahead and we are going to use a very simple JSON format. So here we are using a very simple key value pair. So there's, John Doe, which is the name, pair with the name, and then there's email, and then there's birth year. Basically, all of them combined together. Cool. Once you send a request, you will obviously receive a response, and the response you will basically see what happened with your request. Can someone tell me what does 404 means? You might have heard about 404 early on, right? So what does 404 means? If anyone could tell me, it's very easy. Have you ever encountered 404 code? Page not found. Exactly, Vipin. Any other code which you have encountered apart from the ones mentioned on the screen? Anyone? Any other code you have encountered apart from the ones which are mentioned on the screen? No. So there's 502 internal server error, which is one code which is not mentioned here on the slide but exists. And whenever that happens, it means that the server is down, server is ill, and you need to go ahead and give some chocolates to the server. Okay. No, I was just joking. You need to go ahead and make sure the server is running properly, right? Awesome. So let's do the hands-on, and that will actually give us more insight. So let's go here. I've shared the URL with you folks, right? And that will open Postman API 101 workshop public workspace. This public workspace actually has, like it has all the APIs which we have created for working around with, API 101. So you have to go to basics of API, and then you have to create a fork copy of this API. Okay. So we are gonna go ahead and create a fork copy of this API. I'm going to send you the URL directly to create a fork copy, so that saves some amount of time. Either way, it's a very collaborative space, as I told you. As people come online, I'll be able to see them online here. So you can see as people join in, I will be able to see them here online. Okay. So as you can see, for basics of API, anyone who comes online, I can see them here. Okay. Let's see. Let's go, people. You can go here. See. Anyone else who is joining for the practicals, I can see them here as well. Okay. So I can see two people here. Prerna is here. Oh, I saw Prerna in the call. Yes, awesome, Prerna. So Prerna is here. What about others? Is there someone else? And you folks, why does it show this? Because you don't have a public profile. Okay. So it will show you this Andromeda and other parts, right? So I can see +7 people are here, which means all of you who are in the call are actually here, right? So you can see it is very, very intuitive, right? So let's go ahead and create a fork copy. So what we are going to do is I'm going to send this again. I'm going to send you this again. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a fork copy. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a fork copy. Let's add a fork label. So your label is the one which actually helps you distinguish between the parent and the child. So for the label, what we are going to add is we are going to add today's date. So today's date is 04 August. Let's go ahead and select our workspace. You will see only my workspace, so that's absolutely fine. You can go ahead and select my workspace and click on fork collection. What will happen then? It will actually fork the collection, and yeah, that's what it's gonna happen. Okay. So once it forks the connection, everything looks good, and it will create a copy of the original, fork which we already had. So once it has created the copy, we have to go ahead and follow the instructions. So let's open the documentation. So you can see label is very useful. So here you can see 04 August, and then I had one more for 30 July. So I can differentiate it properly with the help of this label. So let's go ahead, click on these three dots and open documentation. Documentation is very important. Okay. So I'll take a moment here and I'll wait for you folks to catch up till here and create a fork copy, and then we'll move forward. Okay. So yeah, once you're done creating a fork copy, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Yeah. Okay, come on, folks. Once you're done, please give me a thumbs up. I'm waiting for your input to move forward. Okay. Come on, let's do it quickly. Once you're done, give me a thumbs up in the chat, okay? Creating a 4 copy. Okay, folks, once you're done, it would be great. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess 2 people have done it already. Let me go ahead and let's get started. Cool. So let's open the documentation. So how to open the documentation? You can go here, click on 3 dots and click on view documentation. That will open the documentation and give you this output, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to tell me which API do you want to work with. Do you want to work with the joke API, the quote API, or the book API? Let's do a quick poll in the chat. Which API do you want to work with? We have 3 APIs available here. Yes. Book. Okay. What about others? Book. Okay, I have 2 votes for books. What about others? Oh, everyone wants to work with book API. I guess you folks are very intelligent because when I ask engineering students which API they want to work with, they always come back with, hey, we want to joke around, so we want to work with joke API. Okay. Book APIs are very rare. Like I guess this is the second time I'm using book API. In almost like 3 to 4 months. But that's fun. Let's go ahead and use the book API. Okay. So this is the endpoint URL. That is going to be the base URL for everything. So books API is the third one. So you can directly jump to the third one. You can see making request for book APIs. So you can directly go to the third one, and this is the base URL. So let's copy the base URL and let's go to the first request, which is get data. So click on get data and replace this here with the URL and hit enter and tell me what do you see in the response. Okay. Tell me what do you see in the response. Yes. Yeah. Tell me what do you see in the response. And by the way, my brother is here. He disturbed me, and he just ran away. Okay. I was trying to catch him because he comes in the call and then he runs away. He doesn't like a lot of people. When he sees a lot of people, he just runs away. But yeah, cool. Let's see. What do you see, folks? Come on, be quick, be quick. So what you need to do is you have to copy paste this in the get method and hit a send and tell me what do you see in the response. Do you see something in the response? You can see that by default we have 4 books added. Kawasaki, Rich and Poor Dad, J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter books, Sudha Murthy, Wise and Otherwise, Walter, Isaac and Steve Jobs. So these are the 4 books which are added. So right now we can see Hello World as a response, right? Yeah, sure, Abhinash. What we have to do is we have to go open the documentation first. Okay. Click on this 3 dots, open documentation. Once you open documentation, everyone selected the book API, right? So on the right hand side, you will see that there is like a, like a small index. I can click on the book API and it will redirect you to the book documentation. Here, copy the base URL, right? and then go to get data and paste this URL, replace this, whatever is written there with this URL, hit enter or just hit send. Okay. And then you should see something called as hello world in the response. And you should receive a 200 status score, which means everything works fine for the server. Are you folks able to see it? Let's see, what about Bipin? Avinash is looking at it. Jason, Sal, Saldeep. No, it's not Saldeep. Sorry, my mistake. Saldeep. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Let's see. What about others? Where is others? Where's Prasanna? Prasanna. Prerna was right. Prerna was doing as well. There's Prerna. What about others? Let's see. There are less people, so I'm gonna call out you folks. Okay. There's Neha. Then there's Kabin. Then who's there? You understand the process, right? You have to just go and send a request. So it's gonna be very fun if everyone participates. Okay. Because then you'll see a lot more jokes. So yeah, there's no next step. I am yet still there for everyone to see the hello world, and then I'll talk about the next step. You can go ahead and read about the status code. You can hover over the status code, and it will tell you what it means actually, right? So that is the best part around status code. So it will, tell you, hey, this is what it means, when you're talking about status code, right? Awesome. So let's go and do next. Let's go ahead and check the books. So append the path with BOOKS books. Hit enter and tell me what do you see. Oh, sorry. Write book. Hit enter and tell me what do you see. Do you see something? Whatever book you see, give me the name in the chat. Okay. Be quick. Whatever book you see, give me the name in the chat. Wise and Otherwise, that's an amazing book. What about others? Come on, folks. What about others? Where is that word at exactly? Awesome. So we can go here and we can see that all these books, you will only see books from these four authors and these four books because these are the default books which are available. So every time you send the request, you will see a random one. Again, send a request, and this time you should see another book. Okay. And so on and so forth. Okay. So yeah, that's about basically getting some request. Now let's say I want everyone to see wise and otherwise. So I can add an ID and filter it out. I filter out book number 2. So here everyone can now see book number 2. How many times I run this request, it will only show me book number 2 because I'm filtering it with number 2. So I can still see book number 2. How cool is that? Is it cool? Yes, no? Yes, right? Awesome. Not just that. Let's try to do something more cooler. So let's add a request. Okay. So let's go to 3 dots and let's click on add request. And here name the request as add book. Okay. Add book. Name it as add book. Is the URL add /book. Okay. Now, which method will I use to add a book to the server? Can someone tell me? Which method will I use to add a book to the server? Post request. Exactly. So let's go and use post request as Pranshu suggested. So let's go ahead and add post. Now, do I need a body to send a post request? Should I add a body or should I not add a body? Yes. What do you folks think? Should I add a body? Do you think we need a body for sending something to the server? We do, right? Because without body, how will it work? Exactly, Pranshu, right? We need body. So click on body, and from noun, click on raw. And from text, click on JSON. Okay. So this is how it will look like basically. So now click on save. Once you have clicked on save, let's get the JSON body and paste it here. Now, where will I get this JSON body? Can someone tell me where will I just get this JSON body, which I'm looking for? So what I did, I clicked on in the body, I clicked on raw. From none, I clicked on raw, and in the drop down, I clicked on JSON. Okay. So where I'm going to get this body? Can someone tell me? Documentation? Yes, documentation. So let's open documentation. So let's go to the documentation and let's go there. And here you can see for the post, this is how you're going to send the request. And this is the JSON object. So we are going to add rich that keyword again. So let's copy this. And let's go here and paste it in the ad book. Okay. And hit send. What happens? What is the status code you get? Tell me. What is the status code you get? Yeah, that is true. That is what you get as a response, as a body. But what is the status code? Is it 400, 401, 405, 500? What is it? 400, bad request. Exactly. What it means is, thank you, Avinash. What it means is basically that, hey, the request you're trying to send, basically there is something already existent. So you need to change the ID. So let's change the ID. So change the ID to anything which is integer in nature. So I'm going to use 101. You can use any number. Don't reveal it to anyone else. Just use the number and hit on save and then hit send. And then tell me what is the status code you get as a return. Okay. Tell me what is the status code you get as a return. Then I'll show you all the books which you have added. 201, exactly. So what is 201? 201 means created. It created something on the server. Let's see what it created. I can see two book here. So is that poor at and is that poor at. So two people added the same book. So that's why it is visible here. Now let's go and update this, right? Update this with the name. Can we just update this here, or do we need to use any other method to update this? Yes, folks. I can see two books with the same name, right? Added here. So you can see these two books were not added, but now they are added basically, right? Because we added them. Let's go ahead and create an update request. So for that, what we'll do is we'll use the post method. Let's copy it. So let's click on these three dots and click on duplicate. So that's reusability, which is available in Postman. So let's say update. Okay. And here in the body, what we need to do is we need to update the name. So let's name it Ali Mustafa. And what kind of book I'm going to add? I'm going to write a book called as Programming for Everyone and Anyone. So something which you might write in the future, right? And source, I can keep it iali.dev, which is my website, right? So let's do that. Let's hit send and update the body. Oops, I use post request. I need to use what? Which request do I need to use for updating stuff? Can someone tell me? Put, exactly. So I can use put method and let's save this once and then let's hit send. So you can see what happened. I got the status code as 204. Let's see if it updated or not. Let's refresh. And you can see it updated. I see Ashley added Elon Musk, lot Twin Tower. Oh, that's good. Okay. So people already updated it. Awesome, awesome. You can add more, folks. You can add more stuff. Let's add more books. Let's add 2, 3 more books. That's your task. Add book. Add more 2 books. Okay. So how is it that all of you are adding this books in your own system and I'm able to see it in the UI? Can someone tell me how is that possible? How is it possible that you folks are adding it? API and database. Exactly. So everything is working as an API, okay? And there's a database on the backend which is actually enabling this updating in a real-time fashion. So I can actually see all of that here, right? Awesome. So the last part is about deleting stuff. So I'll leave it up to you as a homework. You can go ahead and do the delete operation yourself, right? So that would be great. Okay. So yeah, you can go ahead and do the delete operation by your own self. Okay. So that's awesome. That's how we are able to do the lab from end-to-end perspective. What did we learn from this lab? Let's do a quick recap. So we learned about methods, we learned about addresses, we learned about parameters. One thing we learned about is authorization. So this API is open and anyone can hack it. The reason, if they get the ID, if they get your ID, they can change the author right. They can change the data. So there is inconsistency here, which means there's something. What's going to happen is if someone tries to steal your credibility, they can do that very very easily because the API is not that secure. So basically, we need to secure this API, and that would be API 102 someday. Okay. And then we talked about body data and how we work with JSON. So if you want to continue this learning and you really like how we have demonstrated this and you want to continue this, so in that case, you can go ahead and register, as a student expert and get started and get yourself certified. It's a free certification available for everyone, and especially for students here. You can go ahead and you can basically register for it and start the training and get certified. Student expert certification is adopted across the industry when it comes to hiring students, for an internship, which involves Postman as a skill, or for a full-time, employee. We usually get a lot of requests for verifying this certification for students who have taken part in not just big companies but also small startups, and they ask us for verification of students who are basically, certified as a student expert. So you get a verifiable badge. You can put it on LinkedIn, and you can add one more skill set to your resume. So yeah, that's about student expert certification. You can also win amazing swags at the end of the session. Before I share about this, I want you to join our Discord server. So our Discord server is where we have all the communication happen and everything. So maybe in the near future you wanna kind of participate in different events. You can be part of our Discord server, and that is how you can participate in different giveaways, etc., etc. So here is the link to join the Discord server. You can join it later on or as of now, as you wish. Talking about the giveaway, we have two challenges running up here. The first one is a Twitter challenge in which you have to share whatever you have learned during this session using hashtag Postman Student. And then whatever you have learned during this session, you can share it via Twitter or via LinkedIn. And we'll give out swags to top tweets which demonstrate what we have learned today from an end-to-end perspective. We also have a bigger challenge where you are writing a blog. So we have a blog writing challenge. So for that, we give out four set of swags. For social media, we give out two swag, as a kit, and for blog post, we give out four swag as a kit. So you can earn these swags by writing a blog post from an end-to-end perspective, and then submit the URL to the organizers. Same with share your learning. You have to summarize whatever you have learned in the session, and that's about it. So yeah, hoping to see your participations. This will be active throughout the weekend, so you can submit your submissions by Sunday. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them as we are going. No questions? It looks like everyone understood everything. That's the awesome part. So you are now API ready. You can kind of go ahead and explore API. The best part about Postman, I'll show you. It's not just about kind of working with API. The best part about Postman is its public workspace. So let's say you want to work with Twitter API in your hackathon, right? You can go to search and you can type Twitter, and you will actually find a collection. You can see Twitter public workspace, which is officially created by Google, and you can see V2 APIs, and you can actually do tweet lookup, single user lookup, and everything else basically via Postman. So you can create a fork copy of this. So I'll go here and create a fork. So you can see there are 30K folks here. So you can see people just create a fork copy of this and get started with it. Okay. So yeah, that's something awesome which you can definitely do. And yeah, program name is whatever you're doing as a program right now. Okay. So if you're studying, you can type information technology and all of that. Oh, absolutely, Pranshu. By the way, you can go and directly search for it on Postman and you will get it. But yeah, I'll share this link in the chat right away. So here, if you say, let's say, if you want to work with Spotify, you can find Spotify's, public workspace. So here you can see there's Spotify API here. So let's go ahead and see this one. And then you can see it actually has, the default API structure of how it looks like and all of that. If you want to walk about, let's say, cat API, so there's cat API here. So you can see there are multiple cat APIs available out there. So let's go and check out this one. And you can see it has original cats API, so you can get cat breeds. Then you can get, you can search for cat breeds, you can search images for cats and all of that, right? So how cool is that? So Postman does not just allow you to kind of walk around with existing APIs, right? It also has a repository of other APIs which are hosted by companies, but they have a collection on Postman, which you can just fork, start working with it, and create something awesome, right? Cool. So that's about it. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope you really enjoyed this session. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Else, I'm good. And yeah, thank you so much. I hope you, really ace your hackathons and everyone kind of, scores well. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn or you can connect with me on Twitter. I have a common username across every profile, so you can connect me wherever you find comfortable. On Instagram, I do shit posting, so I don't post a lot of stuff apart from meetups in India. So if you're not in India, then connecting on Instagram would just mean you seeing my food photos, right? And all the places I roam around. So in that case, you want to connect there, you can connect there as well. So thank you so much for coming in, folks. I'll hand it over to KU Hack, Hackfest folks. Over to you, folks.
Okay, now that we're at the end, I'd like to thank you so much, Ollie, for this wonderful session and also everyone else for joining. Hope everyone had a fruitful time. This session has also been streamed live on our social media handles, so you can also check there. I hope everyone will have fun on Hackfest tomorrow. Okay.
Sure thing. Best of luck. Bye bye. See you later.
Bye bye. See you.